compensation design, all that sort of thing. And he's one of them. In his mid-30s, he sold his first company for well over $30 million in his mid-30s. So he's independently wealthy, right? He doesn't have to do this, and he's partnered with Brennan and Casey to create what is quickly becoming one of the well, we are the number one in the industry, but becoming the biggest player across the board. So we'll get into our current sales volume because, again, the scoreboard matters, results matter. Just put it this way, within 10 years, we've hit a certain threshold, and within the next few years, we're tracking to be a billion-dollar company. And that will be happening here soon. So let me kick this back over to you, Mark.
Thank you so much. Guys, what we do, I explained this a little bit earlier. I did fail to tell you a little bit about myself, so I'll do that quickly. I started here 4 years ago, part-time, and have actually been here part-time ever since. And I am a key leader with the company. We are well on our way to agency ownership, which you'll learn about later. We've got a great group of agents here that we work together on. Before Symmetry, I was kind of an entrepreneuraholic, if you will, and I had one too many startups in the works, none of which were producing revenues. And it got to the point where, I'd go to the grocery store and I had to decide whether I put the bananas back or not. So I kind of got tired of being tired, as they say, sick and tired of being sick and tired. And somehow, some way, I responded to an ad on ZipRecruiter and found that this company was way more than just about making a few extra bucks, which is the only reason I came here 4 years ago. Didn't plan on being here for more than 6 months. It was going to be a quick cash grab and get back to my agenda. But I found just such an amazing group of people here, an amazing system that allowed me to become a better business person, a better person all around. And in turn, I am still running my other businesses more successfully than ever as a result of what I'm learning here, all the while having the luxury of serving families and serving agents in growing an agency here with automated income. And it's just such a blessing, and I am extremely passionate about sharing this opportunity. So I really am grateful for you guys checking this out, because it could be the big change that you're looking for, and you may not even know it yet. So guys, what we do is we protect families. We help protect their largest asset, which most people think is their life, but the biggest asset in this case is actually their ability to earn income. We do that in a number of ways. So here you'll see a list of many of the program or products, as we'll call them, products and programs that we use to help people. The funny thing about a lot of these things is any given one of these can be very versatile and solve multiple problems, not just one. So you'll see we help people with life insurance. We help people with different health concerns, disability, long-term care, critical illness. And we also have some extremely effective asset management and wealth strategies that allow people to plan for tax-free retirement. We have a program that allows you to get out of debt, including your student loans and mortgage in less than 7 to 9 years, and all kinds of things for kids, seniors, and everybody in between. Plus, as it says, group plans for employers. Had to add that in there in a nice little blue.
Absolutely. Talk about a huge market that we're not even really tapped into now. We talk about market penetration. It's pretty staggering. That market in itself is absolutely huge, and we're not even really dabbling in that yet. So how do we do it? We partner with several dozen top-rated insurance carriers, including all the ones that are on the screen. Some of them you'll probably recognize, some of them you won't. Most recognizable are, of course, Mutual of Omaha, Transamerica, John Hancock, and we have several others. Currently, we're at about 35 different carriers. So here's a staggering thing that I sometimes share when I'm doing initial interviews. Mutual of Omaha is probably the number one or number two most recognized life insurance company in the country. They were founded in 1909, so they're about 111 years old, roughly a $47 billion company. So let those numbers sink in for a minute. 111 years old, $47 billion company. When we talk about results, take a wild guess who the number one marketing organization is with Mutual of Omaha. You guessed it, it's symmetry. So pretty amazing. So results do matter, and that's just one example of the results that we're getting. And these are great companies that we do business with, and we get paid directly from them, so you don't have to worry about if your check's good or not. Because the reality is insurance companies, I don't know if you know this, but insurance companies actually have significantly more money than banks do. So there's no shortage of money there. So is there a need for our products? You bet there is. There's about 87 million households in the United States. 7 out of 10 households rely on 2 incomes. Depending on where you live, that number might be 9 out of 10. In Southern California, I would say that is the case. 51% of foreclosures are caused by death or disability. And then there gives the statistics of people that will develop cancer in their lifetime. Number one cause of bankruptcy in the entire country is medical expenses. So we're able to protect that largest asset, which is the ability to produce income. Mark, I'll kick it over for you for the next one here.
All right. That's right. That's staggering, by the way. Just every time I hear it, it shocks me. The biggest conduit to bankruptcy are those medical expenses. Is there a need for our products? Of course there is, right? This industry has been around for literally hundreds of years. If you look up how insurance got started, it's actually pretty fascinating, and had to do with different companies shipping, goods like sugar and opium and all kinds of fun stuff way back in the day. But there is a need for our products. Let's just call it 14 trillion in total debt in this country, over 400 billion. Yes, that's with a B, credit card debt in the country. Probably at like 26% interest on top of it all. Every year, close to 10 trillion in mortgage debt and growing, 1.3 trillion in auto loan debt, and 1.5 trillion in student loan debt. And we do have programs and solutions for each of these things. This is really important, and this is where our job really means a lot, right? If you look at this first paragraph here, 90% of Americans know they need life insurance, yet 41% do not even own a policy. And the majority of those that do not have adequate coverage. So is there an opportunity here? There's a huge opportunity. It's not even that most of them don't even realize they need it or don't think they need it. People don't get around to this because death is scary, right? It's something people don't like to talk about. And it's something that people don't like to feel about, if you will. And it's our job to bring that out. So we really are a lot more than salespeople here. 37% of Americans have absolutely nothing saved for retirement, and 63% of Americans are dependent on Social Security, relatives, friends, or even charity by the age of 65. You guys can see these numbers. Average U.S. household debt, $189,000 in mortgages. New mortgage, the average is around $260,000. Student debt, right around $46,000, $27,000 in auto loans, close to $7,000. Granted, this is the average on every single household. $7,000 in credit cards, which is revolving debt with high interest. And due to household debt, the estimated retirement for the class of 2015 is now 75 years old. So we've gone from what most of us understand to be about 60, 65 to realistically having to work, whether you can or not, until you're 75 years old in order to keep a roof over your head and food on the table these days.
Yeah, it's so prominent now. I mean, how many people do you know personally in your family, maybe your grandparents or your parents who retire and then go to work? They retire from their primary job and then go pick up a part-time job. So it's an epidemic, as far as not being prepared. So one of the things that we're able to do is address that. And there's some pretty heavy hitters on this call now with us that are making a huge impact in their community and the lives of those people around them with this Debt-Free Life program that's available out there. So we rolled this out in May of 2019. The idea here is to eliminate debt, create guaranteed tax-free wealth for retirement, providing peace of mind to their family with a life insurance plan to customize their need. And they can do all of this without spending any additional money. The numbers and the statistics that I've seen, I don't have handy here, are just absolutely staggering. The impact that we've had, and literally the millions of dollars in interest that we've already been able to save clients, helping them get out of debt faster than they ever thought possible.
That's right. And guys, we're going to breeze through these slides because slowing it down for a second, the reason we're showing you this next section of slides is to demonstrate the level of growth that we have experienced in Symmetry since inception. And you can see as these are added on, look at that. The momentum is crazy right now. And we have been on an upward trajectory since inception. If you know anything about starting a business, growing a business, you'll recognize and concur that this type of growth is unique and unusual and extremely commendable.
Here's the crazy thing. With this $123 million roughly that we did last year in business, that actually is larger. That's the larger sales volume than most insurance companies. And what's noteworthy here as far as kind of getting some perspective on what it is that we do and how we do it, we're just a middleman. If you think of the largest companies in the world, like Amazon or Walmart, what do they actually sell? All they're selling is other people's products. So if you look at this sales volume and compare it to companies that are selling their own products, it's staggering. So we're in the right place at the right time in not just an emergency market, in an exploding market. And this is just primarily in mortgage protection. We haven't even talked about the advanced markets that we're currently into. So looking at our national coverage in 2010 when we started, there was only, I think, about 3 months in this in 2010 that we started in October, I believe it was. So they helped 277,000 a month is what their average was in 2010. And we were just in these grayed out, these dark gray states here. And I believe there's only like one person up there, one person down there. Casey and Brandon were right here in this area here. So, in 2019, of course, we're covering now all 50 states. We're currently averaging about 2,500 applications each and every week, which is just an absolutely staggering number. And this is actually equating to over, it's over 2.5. It's actually currently it's over $3 million a week in weekly sales. Staggering numbers. I look at what I used to do with the other company I was with. Their revenue when I left, I think, was $22 million. And it was a manufacturing plant with over 100 employees. And it was like $22 million. And I forget what margins they were working on, but it was razor thin. It was like, I think, 7 or 8%. All of that, all those people, all that liability, all that insurance that they had to pay to make $1 million. Like, it was so razor thin, it was crazy. And we talk about producing in excess, and we'll get into this later, it may not make sense to you right now, but we're producing well in excess of $3 million in commission every single week. So that may not make sense to you, but it's staggering when you start to understand how the insurance industry works and how they pay out commissions. So how are we doing? $398 million in total premium since inception, 300,000 families protected, and $30 billion in face amount. So some of you brand new on the call don't know what this necessarily means. Basically, if everybody that we've insured over the last 10 years were to, heaven forbid, die in one day, the insurance companies would be paying out $30 billion. Of course, that could never happen. But if it did, that's what that represents, is what the insurance companies would have to pay out.
Yep, that's right. And guys, this part's really exciting. This is the capacity in future markets that we've got an opportunity to serve here at Symmetry. Mortgage protection arena, which again, that's, when I started 4 years ago, and gosh, Val, even when you started about a year after that or so, that's what we did. We did mortgage protection and some people helped with final expense. You could see final expense, the opportunity in there is close to $600 million. But now that we've rolled out programs like debt-free life, Medicare subs, long-term care, and advanced retirement solutions. In addition to the annuities and IULs that we've always serviced people with, you can see there are billions and billions and billions of, not stars, dollars, in, that was a Carl Sagan reference, billions and billions of dollars in future capacity here that we have advantage to help out with as agents here at Symmetry. So if you look at this, guys, this is a dated slide. 2019 production was projected to be 125 million. I think we did, what was it, 139 last year?
I think it was 129, Mark.
129, that's right. So we exceeded our projections last year. Total life capacity, life insurance of all kinds, 2.35 billion. Total annuity capacity, guys, this is something, an annuity, I'm not going to explain what it is for you, of those of you that don't know, but it does really service providing income from people that are afraid they may live too long, as opposed to insurance, which is what if I died, you know, tomorrow. And this is an incredible advanced market that we have just started kind of cracking the nut on. So you could see there, that's a huge capacity that we haven't even touched yet. One of the most important things, guys, that we've got access to here is agent support. This is the make or break, right? If you look at the attrition rate, I think they announced it on our national call last week. I don't want to scare anybody off. At the same time, you know, get ready to not only have fun, but do some really good work as you start to change yourself and grow your business. Guys, this industry has a 95% attrition rate for agents. That's a scary number at first, but I will say on the flip side, Symmetry has created a platform that makes for agents to stay for all the reasons that agents in the past have maybe not made it at an IMO. And a lot of that is as a result of the support and resources that Brian, Brandon, and Casey have put in place for their agents. And it's amazing. I know, you know, if you haven't been on these calls, some of us are going to seem a little maybe overly excited about what's happening with this company. But there's a tremendous rollout in addition to the things that we're going to cover here that they've got planned for us, and including, I saw it on the website, so I can say it. We've got health plans coming for agents starting August 1st, which is unheard of in an IMO. But guys, our leads are gold in this industry. Agents nationwide, if you ask them what their biggest problem is, it's getting the appointment because they can't find the leads. So they're either diving through phone books or they're paying third parties to generate leads that may be used time and time again by other agencies. They may be being used at the same time as you. You just never know what you're going to get out there. And on top of it, there's a lot of scams. So Symmetry has put together an incredible platform in which they generate all of our leads in-house. And we have the ability to invest in our leads in-house directly with Symmetry. So we know when we get that letter with that signature on it, and Symmetry tells us we've got that exclusively for 5 weeks and no other agent will have it, that we're holding on to a piece of gold there. And it's more than that. It's a family that needs our help, or very well may need our help. So on average, 3,000 new leads are added to the system every week. And they're now coming out with alternate platforms generating leads on Facebook, online through click ads, and all kinds of exciting stuff. In addition to the ones that, you know, we've made agency owners out of in the last couple of years. So we have a proprietary sales system. You follow the system here, it works. No joke. It's that simple, guys. It's not easy. It's a lot of work. It really is. And it's a lot of failing forward. And you get a lot of no's before you get a yes. But we do have a proprietary sales system that works unequivocally. You will make your goals here so long as you put in the activity. We've got a proprietary CRM and lead management, which over the next few months is going to get even more streamlined than it is now. We do have marketing and recruiting assistance. Again, so much more coming in this line, but Symmetry helps you build your agency while they help you help families. And you'll see why that's important in a couple slides here. And we have ongoing support here, guys. Take a look at all these faces on here. This is a fraction of the faces at this company, the people, the souls, the hearts and minds that will help you if you simply say, hey, what's next? And that always starts with your mentor. We provide one-on-one mentorship here. Whoever brought you to this overview, whoever you're working directly with, they're there for you. They're there to make sure that you win. We've got weekly training calls on national sales producers doing 6-7 figures in their agencies. Take the time every week to say, hey, here's how I messed up. Here's how you do it right. And they go into great detail about that. We've also got national training events, which are virtual now, with much thanks to COVID, and carrier webinars and training, which allow you to really do deep dives on products and programs that allow you to serve your families in extra special ways beyond whatever it is that you help them with the first time. Guys, right here, we're going to go into a few things. We got a turnkey referral program called Care to Share. Symmetry actually sends out advertising materials to clients that you've helped, and whenever they decide to act on any of those, you get a commission. So zero work on your part. It's the gift that keeps on giving. You help a family once, Symmetry will make sure that you help them multiple times. Everplans is an incredible platform that we're partnered with. They allow your clients to store all of their passwords, financial information, everything in an encrypted platform so that, God forbid, they pass away tomorrow. I know if that happened to me and I didn't have Everplans, my wife wouldn't know where to start. And that's a scary thought, you know. You think everybody's okay and they'll just take over, but do they know your passwords? Do they know where the policies are? Do they know this phone number? So really important stuff that we offer there. Owner's Circle, all of us leaders very much appreciate this. Once you start building an agency here, as opposed to having to track everything manually, all of your numbers are tracked here by the company, and you get your own website with a request a quote and a recruiting platform built into the website that helps you garner interviews for your agency. Virtual assistant, newbies that don't understand, come in here and play with it, you know, play with age, height, weight, impairments, health impairments, and all kinds of stuff, and it'll tell you what's appropriate for your client. And we've also got a power dialer. Guys, our power dialer is not third party. It was developed in-house by some 7-figure agencies here at Symmetry. And it's above and beyond what you get anywhere else. You get multiple area codes so that here in the age of COVID, where we are helping families virtually, if I want to help a family in Hawaii, I'm going to call them from a Hawaii area code. And Symmetry makes that very simple. So we could go on and on about the benefits, but guys, you'll never get more support at another IMO. That I can guarantee you. Again, guys, this is just more. I'm going to say, we joke, we're a self-development company that happens to help families with insurance. And you're going to find that as you come on board and decide to grow your own agency and become a leader. We've got phone calls. We're partnered with Giant, which is an amazing leadership development group that has been with us for a couple years now. And all of these things are geared toward making you a better person, because we can all improve a little on something, right? And we believe strongly here at Symmetry that your income can now outgrow your mindset. So it's very important to always be growing yourself, and we pay a lot of attention to that. And if you come on board, you should too. Guys, this is amazing. Again, the health slide's not on here. I did mention it earlier. We are coming out with health plans for agents, which is unheard of. But we also, right now, when you come on board, we're partnered with Americo, which is an excellent A-rated carrier, and you get free life insurance that's no premiums for you, up to $250,000 in coverage for a 30-year term, up to your choice, just for coming on board with Symmetry and applying. The asterisk is you've got to qualify health-wise, but the rest is taken care of, and it gives you a good chance to own what it is we help people with. You don't want to go to the Infinity dealership and see the guy selling you the car driving a Toyota, right? So it's important to own what you sell, as they say. And I use the term sell lightly because, yes, it is what we do. We're in sales, but ultimately we are helping families with these things. And it's important to know what it is you're helping them with. And it makes all the difference when you own it yourself. So Symmetry went to the task of making that free for us.
Yeah, very good. So I get the distinct honor and privilege of covering how we get paid, which is really, really exciting. So part-time and full-time positions available. What I always say is this does work part-time. It does work full-time. It does not work anytime. And what I mean by that is having a schedule and sticking to it. So having that integrity in that schedule, treating it like a business, right? So treat it like a job and run it like a business is actually what I say. So if you have a calendar and you're working a certain time, you got to work that certain time, right? And if you do, you're gonna do extremely well. We're gonna go over commission levels. It's showing here 60 to 110%. The amazing thing is that literally just a week ago, right? A week ago, actually, they rolled out a new compensation structure that's going to be effective August 1st. So as we talk about these next slides, think about what that impact that's going to have. So now our new comp structure is actually going to go from 70% to 120%, which is amazing. Like, it's unbelievable they were able to do that, that they did that, because what that's doing, if you know business at all, basically that comes from somewhere, right? That comes from somewhere. That comes from their bottom line. And basically what it means to us is just that much more commissions. And on average, believe it or not, that's going to equate to $100 per application that you're going to get paid above and beyond what you normally would have got paid for the exact same work. And we're going to talk about bonuses. When I came to Symmetry, I was not aware that there was a bonus for just being a producer. And I received my first producer bonus my first month working here full time. And it was something like $265. It was completely out of the blue, and I was blown away because that was exactly $265 more than I had received 7 years prior with another company I was with. So in other words, they didn't have producer bonuses, and the bonuses here can get really kind of crazy. So part-time agent, what's just showing here, and by the way, this is at our current levels, so you can just kind of do the math, but just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to go through what's on the screen here. The numbers just get even more rowdy. But if you look at 15 to 20 hours a week, 6 place sales per month. So what does that mean? That means basically 1.5 applications. Let's call it 2 applications a week, right? In that range. Definitely not full time to accomplish that. A 60% So our average case is $1,000 in annual premium volume. So what that means is what that client's paying over the course of a year. Premium is what they're paying, annual meaning, of course, year. So the average policy is about $80 to $85 a month. So if you look at 6 place sales times an average of $1,000 per case, and you're getting paid 60% contractor, it's going to break all this down in the next slide here. And the carriers actually advance you because the client's only paying once a month, and they're typically only paying once a month. So they're going to actually advance you as if that client's already paid for 9 months of their policy. And this is what it looks like. So 6 sales a month, $6,000, 60% commission equals, of course, $3,600. So when you look at the carrier advance, they're giving you 75% of that within a day or two of you writing that policy and it being approved. We get direct deposit daily pay from the insurance carriers. So that works out to be $2,700 in advance that you're going to see right away. And when you factor in what they call the back end money, it's actually $43,200. And I can attest to this. When I started in this industry in 2006, I did pretty much exactly this. I was working probably on the high side 10, 15 hours a week, and I made $46,500 that year. That was way back in 2006. It actually was more money back then, which is the crazy part. So these are very realistic numbers, having achieved that back then personally. A full-time agent, here's what I love about this. When I came over to Symmetry door to door, in other words, when I left for work, if you call that punch in the clock, and then when I got back home, because think about it, when you go to work, when you go to a job, you're required to get there and on time. So I didn't just count the 50 hours that I was at my desk. In my opinion, they owned me for a whole lot more than that. So it was way closer to 60, 70 hours a week, right? When you count your commute time. My commute time was just about an hour or plus or minus. So factoring all that in, I was working a good 60, 70 hours a week. So coming here, being able to work 30 to 35 hours a week and be able to create that same level of income had a huge impact on me and my family and my ability to be here for them. So 15 to 20 net place sales per month. Basically, all that means is 4 or 5 sales per week. Okay. So you're going to get that same carrier advance. The average case is still going to be the same. But here's one thing that we're looking at. So we're looking at promoting very, very quickly. So we promote every 2 months. You've gone from a 60 to a 65 to 70 to 75, and it's based on sales volume. So if you're doing these sort of numbers, you're very quickly going to be at that higher contract level within just a few months. And just a quick side note, with the new contract levels, if you look at these numbers, you can be at a 75% contract level in 2 months from when you start. So as you look at these numbers here, look at this as a full-time agent. These are the kind of numbers that you can be hitting within 2 months as far as income is concerned. So $15,000 a month, which is 15 place sales. So we're looking at the lower end of that. 75% commission because you've promoted, right? You've got your raises, your contract increases, which is $11,000 a month. Looking at just the carrier advance, which is 75%, is $8,400. So your advances are 101. Your total first year compensation is $135,000. So I can attest to that too, having done basically these same numbers, having achieved that contract level, and having done something very similar to what's on the screen here, and having crested over that number. So I can firsthand attest that these are all very, very realistic numbers. All right, Mark, let me kick it over to you for the next couple here.
Had myself muted, apologies. Thank you, Val.
You're good.
That's a lot of math, guys, but it's really, really exciting stuff. And all I can say to add to it is to accent what Val said at the beginning of this. Treat this, even though you have the freedom here to do as you wish, when you wish, treat it like a job, especially in your first 9 months, because you will build strong habits therein. But build yourself a schedule, be active, and be active in accordance to your intentions when you set that schedule, and you will win big here, big. It's why, again, I came here for 6 months, and here I am 4 years later. I can't get enough because the opportunity is pretty big here for those that put in the work. Guys, what makes us different? You have the ability to earn both time and money. You can earn permanent income in addition to temporary income. And that's done by building your own agency and creating a system-driven income in which you don't do the work. You do a different kind of work. You mentor, you lead, you guide, you shepherd. And growing into that role here is so rewarding. I can't even tell you. It's a big passion of mine being able to work with agents. And guys, one of the reasons there's such a high attrition rate in our industry is because there's a lot of money in this industry no matter where you go. The opportunity anyway is there to make a lot of money. But the opportunity to gain time is not so prevalent in this industry. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of hours, but Symmetry has made it so that it's very simple to follow a system and enter full-time income on a part-time week. In addition, going back to my initial point, the reason a lot of people don't make it in this industry is because they burn out, right? After doing this week after week after week and helping thousands and thousands of families, some people are looking for a change of pace or new challenges after their 5th or 6th year. And Symmetry has designed a system that, quite frankly, now more than ever, and they'll be rolling out the new guidelines, but now more than ever, you can, as we say, take yourself out of the field at Symmetry in probably as little as 3 years and maybe 6 or 7, just depending on your growth trajectory. And now your real work is mentoring and shepherding others and allowing them to serve the families at the table. And we don't make a dime unless our agents make a dollar. So the way that we do that in leading agents and guiding agents is the carriers will pay us an override for our agency performance. So your agents are going to earn what they're going to earn, but the carriers are going to pay us an override. And those overrides add up. We've got people, again, with 6-7-figure agencies now that have been here 5 or 6 years, and they're collecting low to high six-figure incomes passively. So guys, we have an exclusive agency ownership program, and I'll tell you, this is what has me staying. This is what I would call the equivalent of a 401k or a pension, while being an entrepreneur all the while. Symmetry is the one and only IMO in the nation that offers exclusive agency ownership, which means when you hit a certain point in your growth, and it's having, you know, 6 agents of your own, you're performing a certain amount of numbers for 3 months in a row, Symmetry will actually sign a brand new contract with you called an agency owner contract, and that makes your business willable, sellable, transferable, whatever you want to do with it. And I do want to really quickly, because this is what touched me from the beginning on, and it's, I believe, a key indicator. Self-development and culture is huge, but as far as your financial well-being and the protection of your family goes, this is key. When I started here in 2016, I got on one of our first conference calls, and everyone was very somber, and the person talking was crying. I called in a little late, I'll admit. And I thought, oh gosh, what did I get into with Symmetry, right? It was one of my first ones. But as the call went on, I realized the gravity of the situation. They had an agent, and his name was Steve Wilson, and he was a stellar agent, had been here for 3 or 4 years, I believe, and built himself up a nice sized agency and was earning a 6-figure passive income because the carriers were paying him those overrides for building, training, and deploying a group of agents. Well, he was out one day, I believe he was hunting in Kentucky, fell out of a tree stand and broke his neck and died. This isn't the only story like this at Symmetry, but it's the one I heard on one of my first days. And I'm getting chills telling it again, because if that happens at any other IMO and at most companies, they say, you know, hey, we're really sorry to hear about Steve or whoever it is, and maybe they'll send you some flowers, maybe a check, maybe a watch. That's about it. And they move on. They take that book of business and they divvy it up among their agency. Well, Symmetry took the time and does this. This is just Symmetry. It's who these people are. It's who we are. When this happened, Symmetry actually took the time to fly in, help his wife understand what you know she had to do, which is legally to collect on commissions in this industry, you must be licensed. So what they did is they held back all of Steve's commissions while she took her time to get her license and figured it out. You know, this was not easy for her, but she did it. And when she did that and got her license, and she was legally able to collect these commissions, Symmetry forwarded every cent to her, every penny. And to this day, unfortunately, we don't get to have live conferences yet. It'll be soon. But every conference I've been to since, there is Steve Wilson's wife, you know, her loss aside, happy as ever. And this she's earning a 6-figure, probably low to mid 6-figure income at this point, because not only does she earn what Steve built, her husband built, but those agents are continually building her agency. So her wealth will continue to grow. Her kids, her grandkids, they now have a legacy because he worked toward this agency owner program, and now beyond the grave, his family is and will continue to benefit from that. So know it, guys. This isn't anywhere else, and it's something to really think about if you are truly going to become an entrepreneur and you're looking for a system that's already been proven to work. It's right here.
Very well said, Mark. Absolutely. So I get the honor here to go through what it looks like to build an agency here. I'm going to go through this fairly quick. So this is really just designed to be sort of an introduction. So if you don't get it the first time, you know, that's okay. But it basically gives you the skeleton, the bones of what it is that we're doing here. Just a general understanding is going to be really important. So when you build an agency, how that works basically is if it's just you selling, let's say you're selling 10 units, that's great. You're going to get paid well. If you hire another agent that's selling 10 units, the insurance company recognizes now without you, there wouldn't be these 20 units that are sold. So for that, they're going to compensate you. We get paid directly from the insurance companies. It doesn't come from the agent's commissions in any way. They're not in any way limited by your success to whatever level that you're taking it to. They have the exact same opportunities you have. So you're going to get compensated for the overall group volume that you're responsible for creating directly from the insurance company. So I wanted to make that clarification too, because none of this is coming out of the agent's commissions at all. It's all coming directly from the insurance company. So as an agency builder, you make commissions every time you help an agent make a sale, which is exactly what I had said as far as getting compensated for creating that additional volume. So now we're using the old numbers. As of August 1st, our new reality is going to be that this example is going to show 95%. And these are going to show 80% given the same example. So with these numbers, we're going to just keep it as it is on the screen here. But know this, the actual compensation that you're going to earn from your personal production is going to be higher. It's pretty amazing the impact that that has. So at this point, you've earned promoted up to an 85% contract. And given this example, you have 3 agents that are at a 70% contract. So the difference between your 85 and their 70 is what's called spread. So 15% of that comes in the form of what's called an override. No different than if you have a State Farm, Allstate, AAA, or a real estate office where that broker is making money off of the whole office. This is no different. This is how insurance has been for 200 years. So having an agency at $50,000, this number, we're going to come back to this 15,000, which is about 4 sales a week. You're now at an 85% contract, so you're making even more commissions than we showed before. With this example, the agents that you've hired are doing 35,000 with an average 15% spread. So again, we're factoring that carry advance, and this is kind of what it looks like from a structure standpoint. What that income equates to, without going into all of the detail here, is about $216,000 a year. Now, this sort of structure can be put in place in about a year. It's not guaranteed to be that fast, but it can be done. We have a 24-year-old on our team who has managed to do this. He did it. He was 23 years old when he did it. He's 24 now. So it can be done. Super sharp guy. Tons and tons of respect for him. But if you meet him, he's just a guy, right? He's pretty sharp, but point in saying all of that is, it doesn't take someone super extraordinary, an outlier, 1 in a million. It doesn't. We have people that are actually breaking out as agency owners every month. In fact, several. So that level of success equates to about a $200,000 a year income. So now we get into what we call the video game numbers. Executive Vice President and beyond is looking at a $500,000 agency per month. Of course, this is a $6 million business. You're not producing at all at that point. So carrying that spread across 15% of $500,000, this is basically what it looks like from a structure standpoint. And again, these are going to be kind of video game numbers. So if you're scared by big numbers, you might want to close your eyes. Just kidding. So $500,000 a month in agency production at a 15% spread is about $56,000 per month. Times 12 months is $675. That's a $900,000 a year income. And when you calculate in the bonuses, our current bonus at this level is about $19,000 a month. So you're looking at a 7-figure income. And coming back to this slide here, personal production is 0. And the astounding thing, the staggering thing, is that our company is only 10 years old, and we have a lot of people at this level. Again, results matter. That's the only thing that matters. The fact that we've had people hit these sort of video game numbers in 5, 6, 7 years, the fact that that's possible, the vehicle is capable of going that fast, if we just learn how to drive it that fast, is what is super, super attractive to me. So I know I went through that super fast. I kind of went through that intentionally fast, but I wanted to get onto some of our guest speakers, which I'm really excited from hearing about. But Mark, you want to touch base for just a minute or two, and we can kind of bounce back a little bit on trips and incentives?
Yeah, absolutely. guys, in addition to work-life balance and resources and self-development and all these great things we went over, but wait, there's more, right? Truly though, there's so many benefits in working in this industry, because not only are we rewarded spiritually and intellectually in helping families, but the carriers, again, Val said it, it's no joke. Insurance companies have more money than banks. They are the safest institutions in the world, and they don't mind sharing the wealth with those that are helping protect families with them. And in that, they offer all expenses paid vacations to incredible destinations around the world. Symmetry pays for this. The carriers pay for this. They make sure that we are rewarded for our hard work here. And I'll say the barrier to entry for many of these trips is pretty low with each carrier. So it's not uncommon for people to win multiple trips per year. You can look at some of these locations. I mean, it's amazing. And underneath there, you'll see the name of the carriers. Each carrier has their own trip. So if you decide, you want to go for 1, 2, 3, 4 different trips a year, you can do that. Just pay attention to the carrier guidelines, make sure you're hitting the mark. And they're going to send you on all expenses paid trips, which are breathtaking and nothing less than 5 stars. And just all around rest and relaxation, so you can get back to it and grow your agency when you get home.
Love it, Mark. Well said. And of course, these are all when the world opens up, right? Looking forward to going to some of these places. And
just a slideshow of Germany.
Virtual trips. Exactly. Well, that does kind of conclude this part of the presentation, and I'm really excited to introduce our first guest. Very, very close friend of mine. I just got to spend some time with him one-on-one out four-wheeling and hanging out the river, and of course social distancing and all that kind of stuff, right? But he and I have been all over the country. The places you will go. We talk about having fun and getting stuff done. He and I are kind of notorious for the old proverbial stay an extra day and play, right? So we do that. We've done that. Had just an amazing time. And Mark sent me a quick text while we were on the phone here. This person I'm about to introduce was our #1 producer last year, made well over that $200,000 in income mark. And while we were on the phone here, I just got a text. He actually submitted $3,000 in business. So today alone, made a couple $1,000s helping families, writing business. So without further ado, let me go ahead and jump back off of this share screen here and see if I can highlight Joe Martinez. Joe, I got you there?
Yeah. How's it going?
Excellent.
Can you hear me?
Excellent, my friend.
Hey, Joe.
I can hear you fine. Hopefully everyone can see you. So excellent. Should jump over to you. So yeah, if you could share with us a little bit about your story, Joe, looking forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, thank you. I get the fun part. I don't have to talk about the numbers and the corporate overview. I get to do my story, and I really like to do my story because really it's one of the reasons I was looking, or I came onto Symmetry, because I heard someone else's story and found out what was possible. Like Val said, results matter, and I get the privilege to say that I came to Symmetry not knowing anything about insurance, never been in the industry, never done sales, completely like this, never been commissioned only, and I have seen the results from the fruit of my labor. And so I get to tell my story today. Joe Martinez, father of 4, wife, originally from San Antonio, Texas, live out in Arizona, in a small town close to Vegas, and joined Symmetry about 2.5 years ago, or a little under 2.5 years ago. And I come from the restaurant world. I was a GM for about 20 years, which means I worked about 70 hours a week and didn't see my family. And just, I would always wonder, I would sit at the bar or sit by the bar working, right? And look at the patrons that would come into the restaurant, and I always wondered what they did, how they were here, because I'm in a little vacation town. So I would see the same people 2 or 3 or 4 days in a row, every other week. Either they come from California or Vegas or whatever it may be. And I always just wondered, what they did, what I did wrong because I'm here working and they're out having fun during these holidays, like, you know, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas. I mean, it was a restaurant inside of a casino, so it was 365 a year. And just always thought about, you know, what they did, how they had this work-life balance, because they come and spend a lot of money. The restaurant I worked for was, you know, if you bought, I don't know, about 5 or 10 people, it was $1,000 tab easy. And, you know, I just was wondering how can they afford to come eat, you know, 2 or 3 times a week. You know, that was my income. And what they did to have all this free time. So, you know, I guess I got burnt out with what I was doing because I kind of reached the top too, right? It was the corporate world. I was there 20 years and was a GM. The only way I was going to move up was to become a regional, which was to kill my really good friend, right? That's the only way I was going to get his position. And, you know, kind of just stuck in the corporate world. So was looking for something else. The really cool part is I got to talk to Mark when I started looking around, and you know, I get to tell this story all the time, which is this random guy called me and says, "Hey, you can make 100K from home. What do you think?" I'm like, "Okay, this is crazy." And you know, did my research on symmetry. It made sense what they showed. Got into licensing and just still didn't have that belief that it could be that easy, right? 6 months went by, I still working in the restaurant world, just really fed up at that point because now I have this story about symmetry of how I can work from home and make 100K, right? And so it just stayed in the back of my mind, and I finally made the decision to jump. So I jumped. And when I say I jumped. I completely quit my job and said, this is the path I want to take. I did my homework. I liked what Symmetry had to offer. It made sense the way they had everything, you know, systematically in place, which is, hey, you take, you know, X amount of leads, you run so many appointments, you're going to make so much income, and you can do it in this kind of a schedule, right? Where, you know, make your dials on these days and run your appointments here. I'm like, sounds easy enough. I mean, I can do it. It's on paper. And, you know, jumped into it, and, you know, it was hard, but it was very simple. It was laid out exactly what I had to do, right? And I just made it a point to do exactly that, and instantly found the success, right? And when I say instantly, a couple of months, right? But the very first month that was so vital to me was I needed to make a certain amount of income. I needed to make 4,600 right now, and I went out and I did it, and I did it with a lot of activity, but very few appointments, and I was still able to create that income, which blew my mind because this is what I want to make very clear. Right? It took me 20 years to make $100,000 from where I came from, or you know, in my industry, and I made that income like the very first month, like the monthly income wise. And that just completely blew me away because I'm like, I've been wasting my time. Right? What if I put 20 years in symmetry? And when I truly understood that, I fell in all the way, right? I did everything I needed to do. I plugged myself in, which is, you know, all our conference calls, our trainings, these kind of calls, and did exactly what they did. And now I have the, you know, the privilege to say I have a story to tell because now, you know, 2 years later, I have an office, you know, 2 minutes from my home. I work, you know, half the week from home, if not from my office, which is 2 minutes from my home. I have my best friend working for me, or with me, should I say. I have my brother working with me. I have my sister working with me. Our families, I don't remember. I mean, it has to have been 13 years the last time we were together like this. And I've spent this much time sometimes with that. But it's been super awesome. I mean, you want to hear a story. It's just exactly what they're telling us can happen. Can happen if you're willing to put in the effort. You know, by all means, it's not easy, and I busted my butt to get here. But I can create the income that I wanted, right? I doubled my income in a year and a half. I become debt free. As of last May, I became debt free. I paid off all my debt. You know, cash flow is completely different. The way I look at, you know, what we do with our kids. I mean, just everything's changed, right? I'm able to not worry about, hey, I can't produce today, or I can't, you know, or something, my car broke down. You know, we're gonna have to wait a week or two for the next two paychecks, you know, to feel like what I need to do to fix it. It's like, hey, what's wrong? I go take it to the shop and get it fixed. And, you know, just little things like that in my normal world with a wife and 4 kids was not normal, because it, you know, I was living paycheck to paycheck, and here I am able to, I mean, really just speechless, because I'm able to not live. Martin Faulkner, I think it was, said he didn't have to live off of the, I think it's the right hand side of the menu, which was when you walk into a restaurant, you don't decide what you want to eat based off of what it says. You base it off of what's on the price on the other side. And I'm able to live off of the market price, which means I can select and do what I want because I'm financially free at that point right now. And I'm able to pick and choose what I do and when I do it, because I'm schedule free, because I get to decide what I work and when I go into my office. And at this point, I get to decide what family relative I get to work with, because they're all in my office, which is amazing. And, you know, I just can't be, my gratitude is not, I just can't, you know, thank Symmetry enough to put me in a position like this, to not have to live paycheck to paycheck, which is so stressful on the relationship, you know, the way I treat my kids. I just have a completely different view of life right now, because I'm not financially, you know, desperate for that next paycheck, living paycheck to paycheck. And, you know, at this point, I am able to make different choices because of what Symmetry has been able to bring to our home, which is incredible to say. You know, I've been able to travel the U.S. more than I ever have. You know, like Val said, we've been to Florida, we've been to D.C., we've been, you know, all kinds of places. And it's because of Symmetry, right? We're working, you know, we're playing at the same time. I was fortunate enough to win a couple carrier vacations as well. I'm also won the Costa Rica vacation, but I can't wait for that. Hopefully that happens with Symmetry. It's just changed my world, you know, and I hope y'all really hear this and understand that if I come from a restaurant, I sold beer and steaks, okay, at the end of the day, I have no school education other than my high school. I just have my work ethic, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get what I want. And Symmetry gives us the vehicle to go in there and drive it like you stole it, which is exactly what I plan on doing, and creating the only place I have ever heard of, you know, gotten to know, and be able to say that in 5 years or more, I can create $1 million income, because I'm here for the lifestyle and for the freedom of schedule, and be able to help as many families as I can. And by helping families, impacting them more, I can create $1 million income in about 5 years, because that's my goal. I've never heard of any company that can do that. I was 20 years in a place where I was hoping to make 250, you know, after another 10 years probably.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So good to hear all that, Joe. I mean, you're just killing it with us, dude. So happy to hear that story, and just so happy to travel the country with you, my friend, and look forward to doing more of that. So I think you have the opportunity to introduce an amazing couple here. So if you could knock that out, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I got the privilege to introduce a great power couple. You know, a huge inspiration. I love here at Symmetry that a husband and wife can work together and find huge success. And no one does it better than Laura and Barry Davis. Great people. You know, the queen at applications and helping families. Laura out in the field, and Barry Davis is a great recruiter. You know, just a privilege to work alongside with y'all. thank you for having us here in the family.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, good. I just want to make sure it's not staticky, because when we were listening to Joe, it got kind of staticky. Anyway, I'm Laura Davis. This is my husband, Barry Davis. We're direct to Jordan and Jared Gillum. We started with Symmetry Financial Group about 3.5 years ago. I did. I was the one that took the leap first. I was all in from the very beginning because I had no other choice. We had $1,000 in our bank account, and it was going very quickly, having to pay bills, things like that. We were also working on a rental house that we had. I do not come from a sales background. I accidentally slipped into timeshare for about 1.5 years before this. And prior to that, 14 years, I was in nursing. So I knew nothing about sales. I kind of got a little bit of experience with the timeshare, but I was also working with a company. We both were actually working with a company who was very corporate and demanded all of our time. We call it life share now because it literally stole every second that we had. We have a 10-year-old daughter who at that time was 6. And so we didn't really get to spend enough time with her, we felt like. So when the resort that we worked at burnt down in the Gatlinburg fires a few years back, it kind of opened our eyes to what we really wanted to do with our lives, where we really wanted to go and what kind of company that we wanted to be involved with. So I thank Jordan so much for introducing me to Symmetry Financial Group, because this company is really, the core values here are solid.
the one, the only, the most inspiring girl you ever will meet in this business. And in the cook group, she's phenomenal. She's out there just going above and beyond, training everybody. So get on these calls, listen to her. This is why we're in the business. Thank you, Jordan, for changing our lives. So I want to turn it over to Jordan Gillum.
Aww. I like the phrase Mr. Green Jeans. Like, I've never heard that before, and I'm going to start calling myself Mr. Green Jeans or Mrs. Green Jeans or whatever. I like that. Thank you so much. I actually have the privilege of basically finishing us up until, basically passing it back to Val to close us out. And first, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for participating in today's call. I hope that this has been exactly what you were looking for, like it was for myself and my husband and for Laura and for Barry and all of us. When we saw this, we all knew what we were looking for. And what I wanted to just basically finish this call up with is just giving you guys some real insight on how I feel, this business is, because I've been a part of this business. It's going on close to 4 years. 4 years, guys. That's so crazy how long that's been. It's flown by. And I am a key leader within Symmetry. Me and my husband are building a business together with some awesome people. I'm actually getting to see some of y'all for the first time on here, and I'm so happy. What I want to share with you guys is what I feel is the reason why some people just don't get this. Why Symmetry may not be for them. You see so many people from different walks of life come here and they take off, right? You're like, I'm a forklift driver too. I can totally do this, right? But one of the reasons why I feel like some people just don't make it here is because of average thinking. We're conditioned through life to believe that the job that we qualify for, is what defines us and determines our self-worth. So we go to longer schooling, and that equals a greater career outcome. So what we either learn or unfortunately don't learn is that we become prisoners of that cycle, that our job defines who we are. Where we fit in this box is what defines us. And we become limited to what defines us. We believe in those limits, and which therefore dooms us. And for those of us who actually learn about this, we become aware. And I feel like it's in that moment that like you're do or die in that moment. You're either contracting, or I hope that's this way, or expanding. So whether you're 20 or you're 50 or you're 80 years old, there's still time for you to establish your own self-worth. Where can you go where you can start your own business for the cost of an insurance license? And where can you go where the CEOs use every single opportunity to do more for their entire workforce and not just the top 10%? Where can you go where your weekly training calls are zeroing in on the mental barriers that you're going to hit your business? Oh, hold on. Sorry.
Don't lie to me. Show me the food.
Hey, Jamie.
Show me.
Sorry about that, guys. But where can you go where the weekly training calls are focused on helping you overcome the mental barriers that you're going to hit in this business? Symmetry has designed a vehicle. This vehicle can be driven by anyone with a license. Give or take, lack thereof, a criminal background. Don't have one of those. You can't drive it if you have a criminal background. But it can be driven like a Pinto, or it can be driven like a Ferrari. Like Joe was mentioning earlier, he's going to drive it like he stole it. Now, this is where average thinking fails people here. The vehicle won't define you. All because you're a Symmetry agent doesn't mean that you're successful, if that makes any sense. Better yet, what the system is going to do, it's going to squeeze you. I love it. I love the squeeze. You know how when you squeeze an orange juice comes out? It will squeeze every bit of who you are out of you. And we're going to see what comes out when you come here. Now, are we going to see that you're a quitter? Is that what we're going to see? Or are we going to see determination? Where can you go where you can work remotely? You can make your own schedule, make a great impact on the people that you're talking to, and make a great income? And where can you go where you will be rewarded, promoted, bonused, and fulfilled for finding and growing people who are better than you? Where can you go where the things that you choose today that you're going to do will greatly affect your future. I have seen and personally experienced the squeeze. A lot of people, when you hear them talk on conference calls, they refer to the squeeze as the journey. And, you know, everyone's just been given this idea that success is some kind of destination that you just arrive at after all of your hard work, you're there. Success is not a destination. Success is in the squeeze. Success is in the journey. And it's a daily toll. It's a daily toll that has to be paid every day with self-discipline and due diligence. Now, you've heard it before, but I'm going to make sure you hear it before you leave. Symmetry is not easy. I want to make sure that is so clear. Name one type of balance that is easy. Finding balance is not easy, guys. And we want to build this business, though, with people who embrace challenge. This is a proven system that works. It works. You've heard from many people today who came from making maybe 30, 40K a year and have gotten paychecks from insurance carriers from impacting people's lives that are also 30 and 40K from one day's worth of work. Symmetry is where you can accomplish what you truly want. That is just facts. Symmetry is exactly where you can accomplish exactly what you truly want. And when was the last time that you accomplished what you actually truly wanted, rather than what you just fit into, what somebody else told you fit into? So, you know, we're here to help anyone who truly wants independence, fulfillment, balance, and generational wealth. And like my best friend in this business says, we're going to catch them all. So with that, I'm going to pass that back to Val for closing comments.
Thanks, Jordan. So appreciate you. Killed it as always. Great to see you. And I love your commentary there, and I love to see what you've accomplished in this business. And it's a pleasure to be in business with both you and Jared, for sure. So really with this, we're going to close the call out here in the next 30 seconds or so. The idea of this corporate overview is really to determine whether or not it's a fit for you. So hopefully, if you can picture the analogy of being on a fence, hopefully this call has pushed you off the fence. And here's the thing. It may or may not be a fit, and that's okay. But I'm going to urge you to get off the fence, right? One way or the other. If it's not a fit, that's okay. We're looking for two qualities: people that have a sense of urgency and people that do what they say they're going to do. So if you are falling on the fence and you feel like this is the direction you need to go, the best thing you need to do is get back in touch with the person who invited you on this call and ask them what's next. So thanks everyone for being on the call. Thanks everyone that contributed to the call. And it was really great seeing everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.